Welcome to the Freely Rooted Mama podcast. Where I am their mother, I make the choice.
All right, mamas, welcome back to another episode. Happy Thursday. I've got little co-pilot here who's learning how to blow bubbles and making little noises, so I'm sure you might hear a little bit of her in the background as we go along. Today's episode stemmed from a DM question. I'm seriously loving all of you guys that are reaching out to me and asking questions. It really helps me understand like what you guys want to know more about and how to create content around some of your questions. So this person was just reaching out to talk about non-toxic things in their house. And so I decided to do an episode on 5 tips to make your home more non-toxic. And yes, some of them cost money, and yes, some of them are going to be hard to face. And again, you don't need to face it all in one day. You don't need to do it all in one day. These were things that we have done over, the course of, I would say the last 10 years, but a lot of it has been done before we had Isaac for sure. And even a couple years before that with some of this stuff. So here's number 1, an air purifier. We breathe in air all day. And unfortunately, the air that we breathe in for the most part today is not the same type of air we were breathing in like 30, 40, 50 years ago. So there is constant toxic exposures that we are coming in contact with, whether it's things from like natural disasters like fires that are, obviously leaching lots of chemicals and things like that, whether it's airplanes going over, whether we live near a farm that does crop dusting and sprays glyphosate, whether we work near a place that works on cars all day and you've got exhaust coming out into the air. Like all of those things get filtered in through our lungs, and our lungs are having to do a lot of work to filter that out. So that being said, in your home, an air purifier, I believe, is a must, especially if you're pregnant, you've got infants or kiddos, because those, your immune system is lower as you're pregnant. So you really want to make sure that you're doing as much to help your immune system. And then with infants and kiddos, they've got developing organs. So you really want to help them, not have to filter so much of those toxins that they're breathing in. That being said, also just a couple little things to think about. Like if you're a big fan of Zach Bush, I love Zach Bush. He is the most incredible human. He's got a great brain. He's just so smart. He's the one that created the Ion Intelligence of Nature products. So the Ion nasal spray, Ion gut support, the skin spray that I've talked about before. He said during a recent interview, that these are the numbers, staggering numbers about glyphosate. 300 million pounds of glyphosate is used annually in the U.S. and 4 billion pounds of glyphosate is used globally. And this goes into our soil, our air, into our air and into our water systems. So these are things that you want to combat by trying to get an air purifier. Now, ours is you want a carbon scrubber. That's the best. And a couple other things, like if you have a vacuum cleaner, getting one with a HEPA filter in it is really important, because that's going to help contain more dust, more molds, things like that. And then some other common sources of indoor air pollution would be like personal care products, cleaning products, all that goes into our air, right? Smoke, gas, if anything's been water damaged, that will have mold, and we do start to breathe that in. Furniture, especially new furniture. If you ever notice like how new furniture or like new cars and things like that have that smell, that's like off-gassing. It's actually not great for you. I know a lot of people love a new car smell, but it's not great for you. If your house has been newly built and you've got new building materials like carpets, flooring, things like that all off-gasses, and then we breathe that in. So this is where an air purifier is so great. So that's number 1. Number 2, kind of going along the same lines of that, is a water filter. Again, you can go to the EWG and type in your zip code and see what your water level number is at. And it's not great. I mean, there's a lot of places around the United States that water quality is very poor. and it's contaminated with, whether it's medications, glyphosate. I just talked about how glyphosate is being pumped into our water systems. Just chemicals, pollutants, bad things get into our water system. Lead, that can be in your water system, especially if you have a well, you might want to check your well. So we have a well here, but we still do a whole house water. We don't have a whole house water filter yet. That is on my list of one of the things that I want to purchase. We do have from Synergy Science, a water filtration unit, I guess you would say, that filters out all of that stuff and pours into water, which is great, except when the power goes out and then it doesn't work. But I usually keep multiple jugs of water filled up from that so that we always have drinking water. And then for our showers and our bath, which is still important because anything that touches your skin can directly impact your body, we have a shower filter on every shower, and then we have bathtub filters for when we run baths. So also really important to filter your water. Number 3 is cooking pots and pans. You really want to avoid any cookware that has Teflon, PFOAs, PTFEs, or your traditional nonstick pan. These are laced with chemicals that will leach off into your food. Aluminum pans, that same thing. Aluminum has been shown to be very neurotoxic. It's been linked to Alzheimer's. So you really want to avoid those pans. I know it's really hard. Most places that you're gonna go get a pan, unfortunately, they're probably all one of those things. So you got to be really intentional when you go and look for a pan. Best ones to get would be cast iron. We love our cast iron pans. We have multiple sizes. We've used them on gas stoves. We had a gas stove when we lived in California, and now we have an electric, and we still use it on electric, and they work great. So cast iron is awesome. It's also a great way to get iron back into you. So if you're pregnant, that would be a super big bonus. So cast iron's great. You can also do stoneware or a safe ceramic pan, such as Caraway or the Always pan. Those are 2 really good options. Again, I know that that's, money that maybe people don't want to spend, but think about and I picked these 5 because these are things that we're coming in contact or using every day. Every day we're breathing air. Every day we're going to drink some water or take a shower. Every day we're going to cook. So you may not use a pan every day, but I bet you use your pans a lot more than you think. And these would be great things to start swapping out. Okay, number 4 is get rid of fragrances. And fragrances can include candles, soaps, detergent, dryer sheets, shampoos, air fresheners, cosmetic cleaners, deodorant, soaps, perfumes, sunscreen. There's so many things that contain fragrances, and they're so toxic to our health. They contain phthalates, which if you've heard any of my previous episodes, we know that phthalates are endocrine disrupting. They are super harmful to our reproductive tissues. I've talked before about the link that they made between phthalates and men's, why am I thinking of the taint of men. I'm like, why can't I think of that word? So there's been a lot, there's a lot of correlations there. The book, The Countdown, is all about this impact of phthalates on our health. And I think people think oh, it's a candle, it's not going to be that harmful to my health. But if you're lighting that candle every day, especially I want you to think about your infants and your kiddos, or if you're pregnant and you're developing a baby, that their organs are not set to try to detoxify not only the other stuff that I've talked about and the other things that we really don't have massive control over, but they don't have the capability to continue to detoxify some of these other things that we do have control over, like breathing in a scented candle. Trust me, I used to love Yankee candles. Oh, I looked forward every year to holiday season of lighting those things. And then once I really learned about phthalates and the harm that they really have on our, especially women, on our hormonal system, we already have a lot of things that we've got to go through with our hormones beyond adding in phthalates and endocrine disrupting things like our cosmetics and deodorants and perfumes. We don't need to add more for our body to try to sort through. So I say all that to say, take a look around your house. Does anything smell? And if it smells, where is it coming from? And if it says fragrance, I just want you to know that the term fragrance can stand for many things, up to 3,000 things to be exact. So that could be, there's a thing that says, according to the online transparency list put out by the International Fragrance Association, an industry trade group, you are encouraged to look at the following list derived from the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics just to see how many fragrant chemicals we're exposed to every day. And I'm going to link that Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, so if you want to look it out, check it out, you can. But yeah, up to 3,000 things. And the FDA does not regulate what ingredients deem like the ingredients that people use to make a fragrance. They don't regulate that. So just some things to think about. Candles were a big one. Anything that you're using with your kiddos, soaps, lotions, things like that, stay away from it. The little tree that you have hanging in your car, oh my gosh, please get rid of those. Please, please, please. They're so bad to inhale. Alternatives to use would be essential oils. I know that sounds so, granola-y, but they're great. Like I have diffuser and they're so pretty. Like you can get like really pretty, like, professional, that's not the right word I'm using, like non-hippie looking, which I mean, you do you, but like I find that some people that, really like the look of like the Yankee candles or like Pottery Barn candles and things like that. Anthropology, trust me, I get it. But they're really harmful for you to be inhaling. So you can do diffusers with essential oils in them. I have a little like air vent essential oil diffuser thing for the car where it's just got like a little pad that you can put oil on and then clasp it and it clicks right into your air vent. So that would be an alternative. And then lastly would be bedding. Also a really hard one because I know bedding's expensive. People get very attached to their bedding, but you sleep on it every day. And for, again, a newborn or your kiddos, this would be a great thing, especially if you're making a registry or something, to put an organic bed on there because beds off-gas really heavily. So if for some reason you're not going to buy an organic bed, off-gas it in your garage or outside for a couple weeks before you sleep on it. It will make a world of difference. Same thing with your sheets. If you don't want to buy organic, GOTS certified sheets, which I do recommend and we do buy, yes, they are more expensive. I do find that the places that we've ordered from are high quality, so they last a long time, but it's just a non-negotiable for us. There are places like Target carries an organic sheets. I don't think it's GOTS certified, but they're organic. And anytime you buy sheets or clothes or anything like that, wash them first. That will help, if for some reason there is any chemicals on them, that will help at least get rid of that. You could also, in the summer, if I ever buy anything like that, which I mean, I haven't in forever, but we bought something a while back. Oh, you know what? We bought a new rug back when we lived in California, and it had like a smell to it. And I laid it outside in the sun for like a couple of weeks, which, yes, I know could change the color of it. It was under a patio, but I just wanted it to off gas outside. So, and bedding, many mattresses, even sheets and stuff like that. Sometimes use flame retardants. You don't want that on your skin. You don't want your kids breathing that in as they're laying on the bed. So it's just one that I would recommend if you can. Really try to get organic. I will leave a link to some better alternatives if you're looking for some, or you know what, actually just DM me if you're looking for alternatives on bedding or anything like that. I'd be happy to help you. I don't want to make the show notes too long. So that being said, I hope that's helpful. Those are the 5 things I would do to make your house more non-toxic. Of course, there's a lot of other things to do, but I found that those are the 5 that I think are pretty important and are used on a daily basis that could make a huge impact in your and your kiddo or soon-to-be kiddo's health. So find me on Instagram, DM me if you have any questions, ideas, comments. I would love to hear. Otherwise, have a fabulous day.